your answer due. I'm half crazy, all for the love of you. It won't be a stylish marriage, I can't afford a carriage, but you'll look sweet.
Hello, Cubanwriter here, and last night I had the pleasure of watching a new television series on Starz called American Gods. It's based on a novel by Neil Gaiman, but I'm not familiar with the source material, so all I have to use to navigate the lore of this show is what the show itself is providing me with. I usually consider this the best way to watch a television show. Television series are often disappointing when you've already read the source material, because the way that you envision something in your mind is never the same way that they envision it when they produce it for television and interpret the material. You will always be upset that something from the book has been left out, or that the way you thought it should be is different from the way they thought it should be. So, I'm not sure if it's faithful to the novel, but I'm already very intrigued by what they have presented in the show. It seems to chronicle the tale of various ancient and new gods. Ancient gods which have waned in power as the people who believe in them have disappeared from the earth, and new gods who are growing in power but seem to be wary of the old gods. Perhaps the new gods aren't secure in their foothold in the minds of humanity, whereas the old gods are worried that they're being utterly forgotten. They seem to use humans as pawns in their quest for power and relevance, and perhaps even as proxies in a war against each other. Much of this is speculation on my part, because I've only seen the first episode. It's hard to extrapolate much from the limited material we've seen so far. Without spoiling too much, I can tell you that the main protagonist of the show is played by Ricky Whittle. His character is Shadow Moon. He's a former convict who becomes an employee of one of the old gods after what can best be described as a series of unfortunate events. It's clear that he wants to leave the violence of his past life behind him, but it's unclear whether he's going to be able to do so. The gods seem to be in opposition to each other, and their contest is already deeply steeped in violence. All of the performances on the show were superb. Even background bit players were interesting to watch, and they all seemed very real and very human, especially the gods themselves. Despite the gods having hints of supernatural power, they never seem unrelatable to me. And I think this is going to be the great thing about this show, is that in ancient myths, gods were a lot more like people. And the gods on this show are largely based on ancient myths, not the newer religions which treat gods as perfect entities, but rather the original flawed designs which inspired people because they were like the people they inspired. Everything is beautifully shot, and I'm very excited to see where the series is going to go. I feel very confident in making a recommendation to watch it, because what I've seen so far is nothing but promise. That's my take on the show. This is Cubanwriter signing out. I'll catch you next time.
But you'll look sweet upon the seat of a bicycle built for two. Daisy, Daisy, give me your answer due.